More business news coming up for you in about an hour's time. Right now, we're going to get a check on what's grabbing headlines here in France this Thursday with Alison Sargent. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kat.
And we're going to start off with some French political goings-on. The centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron, he's bagged a couple more endorsements, and this time from a very high-profile socialist politician.
Yeah, that's right. This is Paris's former socialist mayor, Bertrand Delanoë. It's Macron's first heavyweight socialist backer. He'd had a couple others already. And Le Parisien warns us today that this endorsement could quickly lead to many more. The paper wonders on its front page, is Macron going to eat the Socialist Party? And then inside the Parisien today, we have a handy picture to kind of keep track of who is supporting who in this race. So we see Macron's camp on one side and the socialist candidate, Benoît Hamon's, on the other. And in the middle, we see those who haven't quite decided yet. There's Defense Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, you see Ecology Minister Ségolène Royal, and according to Le Parisien, those close to Hollande and many of these people are doing a lot of soul searching, and they feel that Macron might actually have the best chance to win against Marine Le Pen. Le Parisien also has an interview in this edition with the Socialist Party Secretary Jean-Christophe Cambadélis, and he's urging socialists to keep their cool and rally around their candidate, Hamon. He makes a parallel actually with the United States, saying that in the division in the Democratic Party in that race between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton was disastrous, and he's warning France not to make the same mistake.
Benoît Hamon likes to see himself as a bit of a Bernie Sanders figure, so anyone's guess how that one might play out. You might think that there's no such thing as too much support, but perhaps that's not true for Emmanuel Macron. Some people are saying that too many endorsements from the Socialist Party might hurt his candidacy.
That's true, because as we know, Emmanuel Macron is all about being in the middle, and so he has the danger of going too far to one side or the other. And according to pro-business paper L'Opinion today, Macron has been being very careful to manage his endorsements and keep his place in the center. You'll remember the first big endorsement he got was actually from the centrist leader, François Bayrou. And then meanwhile, you could say that with all this support, Macron has become somewhat of a giant, and we can see in this drawing by Keck, he's taking a spin on a scene from Gulliver's Travels. We see Emmanuel Macron as a giant looking down at the Lilliputians socialists, and they're saying, you'd better negotiate with us while there's still time, but of course, coming from them, that threat does not have a lot of weight.
Indeed. And if Macron does make it through to the second round of the presidential election, it is very likely that he would be in a face-off against Marine Le Pen, the far-right National Front leader. Le Figaro is taking a closer look at one of her proposals today, her call to abandon the euro currency.
That's right. And according to Le Figaro, this would be a disaster for France, and it would lead to an unprecedented financial crisis. The Figaro describes an engrenage, which is sort of a spiraling effect, saying that abandoning the single currency would mean ruin for investors and for the entire country. There's one writer in the Figaro today who says a Frexit would mean not only the end of the Eurozone, but also the end of all of Europe. According to this writer, that's because it would be taking place in a climate that is the least cooperative that Europe has seen since World War II.
Well, staying with the theme of money, there's been a lot of corruption scandals around politicians here in France lately, as I'm sure you know. Several newspapers wondering how to make politicians be just a little bit more transparent.
That's right. And in order to do this, Libération asked all of the presidential candidates to make 6 promises concerning financial ethics. They all agreed, with the exception of, this might not surprise you, François Fillon. And you can see on their front page, tous s'engagent sauf lui. They all engaged to do it, except for him. And to give an example, one promise Libé asked candidates to make is if they're ready to forbid deputies and senators from earning any income outside of their parliamentary salary. And according to Libé, all the candidates were more or less ready to agree to the propositions that they had. Meanwhile, the communist paper Humanité is also dedicating its front page to fighting conflicts of interest. They ask how to kick France's big businesses, the CAC 40, out of parliament. Humanity wants businesses to choose between serving the state or using it to serve themselves, and the paper says they can't do both at the same time.
All right, now we've got plenty of time to talk about football, which we don't often get to talk about in the press review, so I'm quite pleased. Crushing defeat, though, for PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. This was in the Champions League last night against Barcelona.
Yeah, it was an incredible game. They lost 6-1, and 3 of those 6 goals were scored within 7 minutes of each other. This was a huge disappointment for the PSG, especially after their magical win that you might remember in the first round. They won 4-0,
which is pretty unprecedented in itself. We don't actually see that many goals necessarily in top flight football anymore.
You know, very high scoring game. And the PSG, you can see on the front page of L'Équipe, they say the PSG is unqualifiable, unqualifiable, and that's actually a play on words. It means that they were kind of an unqualifiable disaster, so they were a total disaster, but also unqualifiable in that because they lost this match, they did not actually qualify for the next round. So you can see L'Équipe is very, very distressed by this win. They say Paris has gone from magic to tragic, and they're really having a hard time getting over this. They say they say kind of in a message to the team, you shouldn't have brought us up so high if it was only to bring us back down this low.
Oh dear. There'll be some gloating from their opponents, I'm sure. Even Le Figaro, usually talking about more serious political and economic concerns, even they're weighing in on this, aren't they?
Figaro is weighing in, and they're calling very specifically for one player to come back. That's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He was a former PSG star, but he left the team to join Manchester United. Figaro says the team had been dreaming of the cup after their win, but now that this loss has happened, they are a total shipwreck. It's not going to happen.
Oh my goodness, there's going to be a lot of very dejected people around our newsroom today, I think, aren't there? And probably around the whole city. Thanks very much, Alison Sargent, taking us through the top stories in today's French newspapers.